KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our first guest this morning is Arif Halaby of Total Financial Solutions. And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Kim Wall, an alternative medicine advocate. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, I think I'll live. It sounds like I have a frog in my throat.
You're catching a summer breeze here, aren't you? So
It's the summer something.
it's summer something, but it sure
Yeah.
has been hot for our seniors,
Oh,
hasn't it, over the
man.
weekend? Over
It's been
110 degrees.
It's been hot for everybody.
Yep.
Oh,
Across the country, humid as well. So we have to once again remind our seniors that stay hydrated. If you, there are some of seniors that I know that, probably because of their finances and they're just trying to make ends meet, they're not putting their air conditioner on.
but how could they not afford to put it on?
They
Could die of heat stroke. It was
Correct.
so hot.
right, but they just don't think of things like that. They just would rather go ahead and save the money and take the chance, and they do that. So we just warn our seniors that if you have this problem, there are places where you can go here in Santa Clarita that will help you get cooler, and one of those is the mall, of course. The senior center is another. You can go to movie theaters, or you go to Vons, or Whole Foods, or Trader Joe's, whatever, just so you can get your temperature down. So, but you have to hydrate, and that's key and important. And
Absolutely.
you, Barbara, hydrate with water and other things, and I hydrate with Gatorade and athletic
Gatorade.
drinks and athletic drinks, and that gives me the potassium and sodium and things that I think I need for at least the time being to get me through the day. But for whatever you hydrate with, seniors need to listen. This is tough times here in Santa Clarita, and for those of you who are on medicines, and many of you are, you might be on a diuretic, a water pill. And if indeed you are, you have to be aware that, you not only will lose water by urinating it out, you will also lose water by perspiration. And, that can amount to a lot. So just be aware. This is a tough time now. And, we worry about, those of you who are skimping on the money and, trying to survive, and we understand that. But please try to make sure you remain hydrated as well. And if you need help, pinching on the money, we have with us Arif Halaby today from Total Financial Solutions. And Arif, welcome to the show. We're
guys.
Trying to figure out how our seniors can survive in many ways through this show. And one of them is, of course, is hydration. But then the other side is the financial side. Any tips today that you're bringing us that our senior listeners can, take away with them and maybe do better?
Yeah, a lot of times that we see, especially during this time, your electric bill is a little bit higher than you had budgeted for.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Because you have that decision to make, do I put the electricity on or do I not? And because the electric bill can be something that was higher than our original budget, we have to start thinking about this ahead of time. And not just now, but of course in the wintertime, it's the gas bill and the heater. So one of our suggestions is to contact Southern California Edison, your electric carrier, and usually it's Edison if you're in our listening area, and tell them, here's the situation. I can afford $80 or $100, but my bill is $200. They will help spread out that extra amount between now and the end of the year. Another thing that they can do for you is they can help you enroll in a program for low-income people. You may not even know that this exists, but there are low-income programs. Everybody pays a little extra in their bill. I pay a tax, you guys pay a tax, and it's designed to help lower-income people who can't afford it. So we pay it instead of the electric company. I like that.
I agree with that.
That was the sarcastic part of me.
Yes,
Well,
I know.
we
I
gotta-
agree with you.
We have to allow our seniors to survive in some way, and
Yes.
hate to say this, but sometimes their survival is to to maybe our loss, but I'm more than willing to do that.
Yes, of
And
course.
I think everybody in our community will say, this is a time and a moment where we share. We share all our problems. We try to help people out, and we allow them to get through life. Because the other side of the coin is, if something catastrophic happens with illness, it costs even more money. So, this is a simple way of spreading it out and making sure everybody, puts in their fair share, but everybody survives.
Yeah, the issue is I just wish the electric companies would subscribe to the fair part of the fair share.
Yeah, that's an
They don't
ongoing
always do
problem.
it.
No. I agree 1,000%. With solar coming on, wind, solar, and so many ways of gaining from our environment power. I think that we have to take advantage of that, and I'm not sure all the time whether it's within the realm and reach of our seniors financially, but we're gonna. Once we learn to store energy like electricity and real good batteries, which we don't do right now, when all those solar panels that we're seeing, they will be a benefit to everybody. And across the board, we'll be able to put them on senior housing, put them at the senior center, and store. And we really won't be using the same modalities that we're using right now.
So here's the biggest shame of all. And I'll promise you that of the four of us in this room, at least 2 or 3 of you all don't know that this even happened. But at least twice this year, the state of California gave away for free electricity.
Correct. To other states.
Yep.
They sure did.
And they did that with your house being their part of the, right. So this is the thing. There's a surface area about 1 inch thick that says solar panels and electricity is a good thing. I get it. Yes. What does that mean, a good thing? Number one is, great, we don't have to have fossil fuels creating electricity. Okay. But then what's going to happen to the electricity if my house becomes your power plant, Southern California Edison? Because do you realize you paid to create a power plant for Southern California Edison?
Isn't that interesting?
And then if you have created extra power, they don't pay you. They just don't give you any bill this month. Now some of you say, well, I do get paid. Take a look. What did they just do to your bill? They just reduced the amount they paid you by almost half. So they were paying you, for example, let's just play with the number 4 cents, and now it's 1.8. So they have reduced the amount they're paying, but they still kept the electricity, and then they gave it away for free because of their mismanagement. Yep. Instead of not burning a coal plant or a power plant and just using the solar, because that's the known factor, right? Well, they gave it away to Arizona and to Nevada.
And it's, the technology is in their era for them to be able to store it, but
yes.
The idea that they're giving away is a pretty tough thing to handle. But I think in our community we have, like Friendly Valley, for instance. I think one day Friendly Valley is going to have batteries that will store energy, and everybody in that community will be storing energy through their solar panels, and it will go into one source, and then it will power everybody throughout the rest of the year, or however long it takes to run it down. It's going to be just like a car battery. How often do you have to change it? Not very often, but I think we're going to be having that in our community at some point. And the fossil fuels and everything else, I think our environment will be cleaner for that.
So right now you have the country of Australia that has created an area in their nation for the largest battery storage ever. And it is going to create for multiple cities, because there's cities out there, of course, in the nether regions of Australia that get a lot of power outages. 6 to 8 hours a day sometimes the electricity is out, sometimes 2 or 3 days in a row. So what does that do is they are creating the nation with Tesla, imagine that, Elon Musk, and they have these storage batteries. In fact, there's another place right here in the state of California that is allowing themselves to have a multiple battery storage. You have 2 issues with that, right? Remember that surface of we feel good, everybody get a hug, and we're not burning electricity, we're not burning fossil fuel. Well, the other side of it is, and now the batteries and solar panels are dead, we need new ones. What do you do with that?
The old stuff.
Radioactive chemicals, hazardous materials.
Like Exide. Everybody
That's right. What do you do with
that.
it?
People may not know about this, and the four of us in the room, I think, know about Exide and the problems related to the contamination of the community just in LA County.
Yeah.
So,
My biggest concern isn't so much when I say that they gave away the electricity, is that why is it that you mismanaged Edison, gave away the electricity, water and power, you did all of that, and today you're charging our seniors more money because they used more electricity. Whoa, back up. You had it. Well, Arif, the storage of electricity is a lifelong... Okay, so you're now talking about my problem or yours, Edison?
Yeah.
Because you're the smart people.
Yeah, and
We have the batteries.
They should be learning the technology from Australia.
It's
They should
already there.
Yeah, it's there, and just take the model and bring it to the United States. I mean, Tesla, I bet you, will be happy to assist the state of California and the electric companies to put this thing together. But we have to have the right legislators to be able to do that. And once again, sometimes the people we elect, get money from fossil fuel companies.
That's right.
And
That's
because
right.
they do, it becomes a loss for us because their special interests aren't there for the people.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So, we got to figure out the technology, but the other side of the coin is having the big barrier that sits in front of us of having people involved that are getting paid by the big industries and not looking at what the people really need. And when it comes to, of course, seniors, of course, veterans, of course, children and families, I mean, Santa Clarita has centered themselves around those to help them out. And we have to make sure that continues in our community, but we have to find the ways to spread it out through other counties throughout the state to say, you guys better start doing the right thing.
That's right. Down in Mira Loma, I just pulled it up. Mira Loma is where the 20 megawatt battery storage facility. Now, Tesla has these batteries that go on your wall. It's about the size of, let's say, 2.5 feet by maybe 4 feet. Looks like a panel, and it can go on your wall inside of your garage. Some of the biggest challenges, Edison and water and power down in the LA, don't allow you to have your own internal batteries, or they make it very difficult. So in other words, you have battery storage. When the electricity goes out, tough luck, even though you have solar on the roof. So they should allow you to reroute that through your battery panel. It's an automatic thing. When electricity goes off, you lose power to the grid. It shuts down that system, so now you can go directly to your battery. What they're worried about is a back charge and some things that could happen.
Yeah, but
they have
they're
the
also
technology
worried about
for it already.
control.
Truly.
Because who's controlling it right now? They are. And if we were to be able to pull switches, change them around, they wouldn't like that.
Not at all,
And
because
at that point where, like I said, the Friendly Valley has one big giant battery to share amongst everybody.
Would that not be amazing?
They have no control then.
And you only need, no joke, folks, you only need a storage shed size of batteries. Just one of those little storage sheds that hold you get a room like that. You put batteries along the wall. I happen to research this. I'll tell you why in a minute. You put batteries along the wall, and that's enough for almost all of Friendly Valley, maybe all of it.
Good heavens.
Got that, Barb?
Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
And those folks, you have a sufficient amount of electricity. Now, it's not designed to run for 2 weeks. It's designed to run in the evening when solar isn't working, right? So in the evening, when there is no solar sun, obviously, or a cloudy day, so maybe you have 2.5 days worth of electricity. Oh, you know what? It's been 4 days of cloudiness. Oh, hurt me. You've got to use the grid for a few minutes. Nothing wrong with that.
But it's charged and ready to go, and
then it
it
recharges
would be
the
at our
next day.
discretion. But right now we
That's
don't
right.
have that, Arif. And how we start circling the wagons here in Santa Clarita to make sure that our citizens get all those benefits, the technology benefits. I don't know. We have to make sure that the people in the city, which I think some of them are very progressive and will understand what we're talking about, will say, yeah, let's make sure we have the transportation, let's get the pollution, the air pollution, the water pollution and everything else, and make sure that we have those under control. And I think they do look at that, but the question is, are they modeling it like other countries like Australia? Are they going to model it well enough for them to be able to bring it here? And that's what we need to look at.
Yeah, our biggest issue is that Edison and Water and Power have built a structure of pensions, they've built a structure of pay, and they built a structure of benefits that are bar none some of the best in the nation, folks. Not just in the city or in the community, but some of the best in the nation. And by doing that, when you put a solar panel on your roof and don't use their electricity, it cuts into their profits. When your Department of Water and Power secretary, without any high school, college education, and you're making $90,000 a year, and your pension, the day you retire, is $70,000 a year, with lifetime medical, which is worth a lot these days.
Absolutely, it is.
You have to have a system in place so that while that secretary is retired, and then another one comes behind her or him, and you have two people working to pay for one person. So you have three people getting paid. Some are not working, they're at home or in the Bahamas. You have to have a system and an infrastructure. When the Department of Water and Power required everybody, including our seniors in the city of LA, to reduce their usage by 20%. When the city of Santa Clarita went to the water district and said, you have to reduce the usage by 20%, and people did. They did 20, 25, 30. And then they came back the next year and said, hey, everybody, we need a pay increase. You're like, what do you mean? Well, because there's not enough money coming in. Well, you're the one that told us to reduce it.
That's right.
Well, the other side of the coin, Arif, is I think that we have to tell, at some point the technology will catch up with them, where they're not going to be needed anymore. That $90,000 secretary or whoever it is there with their pensions, everything will go because we as people will be self-sufficient. The question has to be, who's going to have that control, and are we going to be able to yank it away from them? And you're going to have to yank it away from them politically through legislation. And, when they're controlled and, their folks at DWP are paying money into their coffers, that control is going to remain on their side. We have to be able to figure out how we're going to fight that. And maybe we can start doing it here.
I think a big part is to remember that it's fine, wealthier people can absorb and go with the ebb and flow. But when you have seniors on a fixed income and their electric bill was $47 a month, and because they want to run their air conditioner to stay cool, it's now $110 a month. You tell me how many of you could double your utility payments in the month and be okay that month. It's not easy for everybody.
It's sacrifice. They're not going to eat as well. They're not feeding their pets.
That's right.
They're not it's not the luxury items either. It's not like getting ice cream or being able to go to a movie. They're trying to sustain themselves through appropriate diets and hydration and everything else, but yet, they have no control over the rates that they have to pay, because some of the people here in Santa Clarita have gotten their fourth consecutive notice. We're turning our electricity off. And this has been summertime, and it's been impacting many of our seniors here. And we have to be mindful that they don't end up on the street.
Shame on you, Edison, and or whoever else is in charge of that electricity. If you're the one who wasted thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in electricity, and because of your mismanagement, you're now going to threaten to shut the electricity off of our seniors or our low-income folks, shame on you.
Absolutely.
Look at your mother or your father, and you ask them, you tell them to their face that you're going to make it so that they got to sit around in 95-degree weather. You should know better. That's a shame.
Well, can we go back to solar panels, solar power? Is there really that much difference in savings?
So this is a risk that I'm going to take, because I know some of the advertisers on the station are solar companies.
Okay.
So it's not an indictment of any particular solar company, but the systems that require you to put it on your roof, and they do a lease program, in my opinion, are two steps this side of, I say scam, but
close.
They're very close. Because there's no reason in the world people should have a $40,000 or $50,000 solar panel deal on their roof, but it's only $250 a month, and your electricity was $350. So see, you're saving money. Okay, well then who gets the federal subsidy? Oh, the company. Well, who gets my state? Oh, the company. So I'm still paying you, and they took the state and the federal matching dollars. When you can go directly, you got to get a good roofer, because listen, solar is not just about the solar panels. It's a roofer that understands how to install it. You get a good roofer. You get somebody that does it. My dad did his entire house at almost twice as what was needed. His entire house for $14,000. The same thing that I looked at for my house when I had the lease guys come over. and it was $53,000.
Good glory.
And I said, "You got to be kidding!"
Mm-hmm.
And now my
Well-
dad is in the valley, just over the hill in Sylmar, but how is it that he has, top-rate solar panels? You can replace that thing 4 times in your lifetime and still come out ahead.
Here's the problem also, though, with the solar panels. The extraction of the sun energy, converting it into electricity, I think it was 19% or something like that. That, because of technology, is going to increase, which means that you can have extraction of 19% today, but then a new panel comes out and it's 29%, and then it's 59%. And, our kids are saying, who are scientists, they said, hey, it's going to keep increasing. Are you going to keep changing out your solar panels? How are you going to do that? And then my skepticism has always been, when you're putting it on your roof, all of you who have done it, doesn't look that nice for one. But if there's a little bit of earthquake and those little pegs move a little bit, is your roof going to leak? I mean, there might be insurance for that, but, you're not only changing out your roof, you're changing out your solar panels. So I'm just of the thought that you should have ping pong table sized solar panels that you roll out of your garage and you open it up and in the daytime, and then you close it up at night, and that to me works better than anything else. But right now, and I bet you that one day we'll have extraction of 80 something percent or 90% from the sun, and I'll have 2 solar panels that will be taking out more than my neighbor's who's across the rooftop.
Yeah, I think there's
It's interesting. We have a flat roof, and we have our air conditioning ducts on the roof, and there's no room to put solar panels up there. And it's interesting because at least once or twice a week, I get a phone call
Yeah.
Oh, for solar panels.
for solar panels.
Yeah, when they sell you a ping pong table, let's do that.
Well, that sounds more logical, but we can't have them on our roof.
I'll tell you, the most difficult thing I saw was a story recently on KHTS about the Canyon Springs, I think. Is that the name of it?
The prefab places.
Yeah, the
over
prefab
there,
homes. My wife
near
and I-
where our previous studio was.
Yeah, that's right around the corner. And my wife and I looked at
That's
a
right.
home there years ago when they were first building it to live there. And I know of some of the family members that belong to that family that own that property. And I also know many residents that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And look, the residents are not happy.
No,
Not only not
at
happy
all.
today, but they were not happy before, because they had a dispute and multiple disputes and multiple neighbors about the way they were treated, how they try to force them into, they keep raising the rent so that they lose their home.
Mm-hmm.
And then the community buys it so that most of them are now going to be rentals.
Oh, yeah.
That's the objective,
Mhm.
so that it is no longer a facility where I own the house and rent the property. I now have to own, through the family that owns it,
Mm-hmm.
the rent, the building, and the space rent.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
the space rent just went up $65. I just did a house call there on Monday, and I saw the solar panels. They're on the side of the hill.
It's disgusting.
And
What it
it's-
looks
it's
like is,
it's terrible.
I can't imagine that those people that
If they
own
called
those.
it artwork, it would be poor art. It just looks bad. But
look,
the worst part about it, the family the patient I visited, she said she's like 90 years old, but she's really with it. And she
Yeah.
said what happened to those homes that were close by when they disrupted the land there. They disrupted also the habitats of the rats.
Oh no! Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
and
my
the homes
goodness.
closest are being infiltrated now with rats. That's what I've been told.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's
Makes
what-
sense.
it makes sense. And so they're a little further away from the construction, but they're saying they're looking for rats.
Oh wow!
Yep. So all of that has ramifications. But
So that goes to show you, because I know the family, again, some of the members of the family, and I know that they don't live there. They live very, very nice, comfortable homes. They live a
Of course
very
they don't.
nice
Of course
life.
they don't live
They
there.
drive very, very nice cars. And the way they did that to that family so that they could end up having the entire, the goal is the entire community to be owned by them and to rent the unit to you and to rent and space rent.
to you.
And now guess what they pay for electricity? Nothing. Guess what they charge you for electricity? A whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So their goal is to create like a mini Stevenson Ranch. Remember, Stevenson Ranch had its own water company, its own cable company, its own electric company. Stevenson Ranch had its own little thing by the gentleman whose wife's last name was Stevenson, and that's where they came up with the name. And what they did is he created an entire multi-million dollar facility, very nice homes compared to this area, much larger, and then ultimately sold it. And so I think that's, I don't know if their goal is to sell it, but their goal is to own that. And what they're doing to those folks there in the name of solar panel and green energy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's just commentary. Be careful with your electricity, folks. Make sure you have enough money for it.
Interesting. Very interesting conversation, which I listened more than I participated.
It's okay.
But it's
It's
very
nice to learn.
interesting information, though. Some of the things I had no clue about. Wow. Anyway, I guess it's time to say goodbye, Arif.
Well, thank you guys for having me again.
Yes.
It's always
Appreciate
fun.
it. Always
Yes.
interesting. We went the whole spectrum of politics to helping our seniors and veterans. We did it all.
Find the money, folks, by calling Southern California Edison. They have programs that can help.
Yeah.
That's
very good.
wonderful. Again, thank you for coming here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And all the information. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.